Hello, my name is Pamela Bailey, and I am the principal of the most awesome elementary, Spring Hill Elementary. And today I'm going to read a story to you entitled Silver Packages, an Appalachian Christmas Story by Cynthia Rylant. Let's get started. First of all, I have a very important point I must make out to you before we start reading. This story was inspired by a real train, the Santa train, which rolls through the Appalachian Mountains each Christmas season. From this train, tons of toys and treats are tossed by volunteers to the children of coal towns, who wait patiently by the tracks. This has been happening every single Christmas since 1943. Some of you weren't even thought of then. Let's get started. Silver Packages, an Appalachian Christmas Story. A train comes through Appalachia every year at Christmas time, and though it doesn't have antlers, nor does the man standing on its rear platform have a long white beard, it may as well be Santa Claus, his slave, for all the excitement it stirs up. People call this the Christmas train, and it has been coming to them for years. Each new child born in the mountain, they learn to walk, they learn to talk, and they learn to wait for the Christmas train. It's everyone's delight. The older people remember its beginnings. They tell of a rich man who had been traveling through the hills by car many years back. No one knows why he came into the hills, but why isn't important. What matters is what happened. The man had an accident. His car just took off right over the side of the ridge, and the man slumped in his car, hurting and scared. Someone came along. Some say it's old Mr. Crookshank, but others say it's Betty Pritt. But who came along? It isn't important either. Whoever it was pulled that rich man out of this car and took him to the house in the hills, where he was nursed and cared for until he could make it out on his own. When he left, the rich man tried to give money to the people who had helped him, but they would not accept it. So that rich man left the mountains feeling he owed a great debt. And for the remaining years of his life, he has been repaying this debt from the caboose of the Christmas train he brings into the hills each December. On the 23rd, everybody knows it, the train will slowly wind up and around the mountains, and on the platform of its caboose will stand the rich man in a blue wool coat. He will toss a sparkling silver package into the hands of each child who waits beside the tracks, and for some, it'll be the only present that they receive. So the train is awfully important. One year, a boy named Frankie stands beside those tracks and waits for the Christmas train. It's very cold and a lot of snow has come down the night before. Frankie's shoes are thin and his feet hurt badly from the cold, but he's determined to wait even if his feet and all the rest of him becomes ice. Now this particular boy wants a particular present, not just any present tossed from the back of a train, a particular present, a doctor's kit. He's been waiting for it beside the tracks. The train comes through finally, noisy and steaming and scary. It is so big, but everybody loves to see it. They cheer, clap, and some mothers, they even weep to see it coming. Frankie stands there at the tracks praying for a doctor's kit, till he sees the caboose slowly come up, and when it's just past his nose, he shouts and waves and runs after the train, his icy feet aching. From the rear platform, the rich man in the wool coat sees him, "Merry Christmas," he calls, and he tosses into Frankie's hand a sparkling silver package. Frankie stops running. He is out of breath, so he can't yell, "Thank you." Then he only could hold tight to his gift and wave to the man, and the train disappears into the mountains. Frankie carries his package home. He puts his own name on it, and he sets it under the family Christmas tree. On Christmas morning, he opens it. It isn't a doctor's kit. It's a cowboy holster set and 3 pair of thick red socks. Frankie looks at his mother and father and brothers and sisters, and he tries not to cry. He wears the socks all winter and plays with the cowboy set all year, but he dreams of a doctor's kit. The next Christmas, Frankie waits again in the cold for the Christmas train. The socks still fit him, so his feet are very warm, but his fingers are cold and hurting. He waits at the track and prays for a doctor's kit. The train comes. The rich man tosses the silver package. And on Christmas morning, Frankie opens it. No. It's a little police car with lights that really work, plus 2 pair of brown mittens. Frankie doesn't cry. He wears the mittens all winter, plays with the car all year. But he dreams of a doctor's kit. Frankie waits 3 more years for a doctor's kit. It never comes. He gets trucks, balls, and games. He gets mittens, socks, hats, and scarves. But the doctor's kit never comes. When Frankie grows up, he moves away out of the hills. He lives in different places and meets different kinds of people, and he himself changes a little into a different kind of person. But deep in him, never changing, are his memories. And what he remembers most about being a boy in the hills is that just when it seems his feet would freeze like snow, a man on a train brought in socks. And just when it seemed his fingers were hardening into ice, the man brought him mittens. Just when the cold wind was cutting sharp as a blade into his throat, the man brought him a scarf. And just when Frankie's ears were numb and red with cold, the man bought Frankie a hat. Frankie's memories. He remembers something about owing a debt. So a grown man who has been gone a long time, he moves back into those same mountains to live. His brothers and sisters, they're still there, waiting for him. He returns to the hills where he grows up, and that winter near Christmas, he stands at the tracks, watching the children wait for the train, and it comes. As always, the grown man watches the steam engine move toward him, watches the caboose roll by him, and he nearly runs after the train. So strong are his memories, the grown man nearly runs after a silver package. But instead, he watches a little girl chase the caboose, watches a man in a wool coat toss her sparkling silver package, watches the gift land near the little girl's feet, watches her running so fast that she trips on her silver package and watches her fall hard to the ground. The grown man runs now, but not for the train, not for the rich man in the wool coat, but for that little girl. He picks her up. He wipes her tears with the scarf from around his neck. He smiles at her. "It's okay, little one," he says easily. The train is disappearing into the trees. He had meant to wave to the rich man, but there wasn't time. He picks up the silver package and puts it into the little girl's arms. "You'll be all right," he tells her. "I will make sure of it." He pulls open his kit to look for a Band-Aid. "My name's Frankie," he smiles. Yes, you guessed it. Frankie's a doctor. The end. Thank you so much for joining me for Storytime. Have a Merry, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Love you.